And I worked with other writers to kind of bounce ideas back and forth. I work best kind of in a team, like just throwing the ball back and forth.
A deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop of golden sun. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, the home where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. Tell me if you can, I'm feeling down. I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please, please help me, help me, help me. Come on and do the jailhouse rock, we'll read that rock. Oh, no, oh, everybody has a rock. Lay on me, daddy-o. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Charlie Brown, Charlie Brown, he's a Brown, yeah, Charlie Brown. If you don't sweat that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yeah, yeah. Don't talk about it. Life is very short, and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. We can work it out. We can work it out.
Wow, that is very exciting, don't you think? So we have a really good session, I think, in the morning, and I think that we're probably going to have an even more exciting session in the afternoon. I want to introduce you Jeff. Jeff is actually a former crisis counselor. In 1997, Jeff moved to Nashville and spent a decade in there as regional marketing director for Borders, working with many notable personalities in the entertainment industry, including Gene Simons of Kiss, Bryan Adams, Rascal Flatts, Anderson Cooper, and Harry Connick Jr. During this time, he also spent 3 years as a staff songwriter for the Sons of Love Foundation in New York City. And more recently, after 4 years directing the marketing programs for Dark Horse Recording, he founded his own team building business, which combines two passions, songwriting and professional development. And this company is called SunKings.com, correct? Yeah. As a songwriter and artist, they have produced 6 albums and also special projects, including called 7 Days. I don't know if we have it. Somewhere?
We do.
Okay. Oh, Jeff lives with his 4 dogs, splitting his time between Nashville and Fort Lauderdale here in Florida and on the road. When not writing, leading team programs or recording, he can become volunteering with Animal Rescue Corps and the Beat of Life. Jeff will be happy to sign CDs after the program. So, Jeff, thank you very much for being here, and here's your call.
Thank you for having me with you all today. Notice how I said y'all? That's what we say in Nashville. And it really doesn't mean anything but what you think it means. You know, what we just saw was basically the soundtrack of almost 100 years worth of generations in the United States and around the world. What we saw were teams of songwriters generally being put together by their music publishers in New York City, which was the norm up until the early 1960s. And these writers generally had a variety of skill sets that were sometimes overlapping, but more commonly mutually complementary. And so what you would see is someone who was a much stronger wordsmith or lyricist, and someone else who was paired with them who was a much stronger musician. And this was the norm. Just like in a university system as large and diverse as FAU, you have all of these different skill sets. We're trying to maximize resources, maximize your skills, and while, of course, a lot of people have some similarities as to where their strengths are, the most impressively successful organizations over the long term always focus on maximizing the strengths of their employees rather than on focusing on improving the weaknesses and the things that are 7 or 8 or 9 down on their priority list. That's what these teams of writers were put together as by their music publishers in New York City. As we saw, Lieber and Stoller, Rodgers and Hammerstein, Broadway, Motown, advertising jingles, the doo-wop groups, Sinatra, Elvis. These people didn't write their own songs. They were put together as teams, these songs, by some of the people that we saw. Now, up until the early 1960s, the songwriting capital was considered New York City. It's changed a little bit. In 1961, just so you know, the average #1 country song, the #1 at the top of the charts, would have been written by one person, one songwriter. In 2011, in Nashville, which is considered the songwriting capital of the world over the last few decades, not just for country, by the way, the average #1 today would be written by 3.8 songwriters. I think we can safely round that up to 4. And what that tells me is that more voices coming to the table, more ideas being heard, more original ideas being heard, but not just the original idea, people improving upon other ideas that are already brought to the table. And it's not just in country music. In 2012, the average pop #1 hit, and when I say pop, I mean everything from hip-hop to rap to rock to adult contemporary, would have also been written by 4 songwriters. Again, more voices being heard at the table. In the early 1960s, a couple of bands that most of you have heard of, the Beatles and the Stones, took the United States and the world by storm and not only changed what popular music meant, but the primary songwriting teams behind these artists, Jagger and Richards for the Stones, Lennon and McCartney for the Beatles, they had sort of a long-term strategy in mind when they partnered up. And one of the things that they decided as songwriting teams, for the sake of the harmony in the band, was that they would equally split the credit, 50-50, right down the middle, for whatever songs they wrote moving forward as a group. Now, there's been some controversy over the years, mostly stirred up by the media, as to who wrote this song or who wrote that. But I think these guys, as young adults, realized that if their bands were going to achieve their goals, their company was going to achieve their goal, their organization was going to achieve their goal, they needed to nip in the bud any possibility of egos, squabbling, acrimony, and sort of say, we're all in this together as a team. So I always found that pretty interesting. I tell you what, we can shift over from songwriting for a second to something that may resonate a little bit more. You all are obviously much more tech savvy than I am. I think everyone in this room could run circles around me as far as the world of IT. Matter of fact, I have a list of questions I need to ask you when this session is done. You know, let's think of those songwriting teams. Let's think of Lieber and Stoller, who wrote all those amazing songs for Elvis and for Benny King and a lot of the Motown songs. Let's change that over to a guy that I think his movie's coming out, his bioepic in a few days, Steve Jobs. Well, he didn't create all of this amazing stuff by himself. He had a Lieber to the Stoller as well. He had another Steve Wozniak. All you Apple people know that. Bill Gates with Microsoft. He had Paul Allen. They all have a creative foil, someone who might have had some overlapping interests and some overlapping skills, but who also had a different skill set, maybe a different emotional set, maybe a different mental outlook, maybe different priorities, and they paired up to conquer the world and to change the world. I always find that really amazing. Has everyone here or anyone here seen the movie? It was out in the 80s. It was called Witness with Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis. Anybody? A few of you? Does anyone here know anything about the Dutch Amish culture, the Amish culture? Okay. A few of you probably know that when the Amish, even in today's modern age, with high-speed everything, decide they need to build a barn, a family needs to build a barn, they do it in a day as a community with little to no modern technology. They will raise this huge barn with virtually no electricity, and they will all come together, and they all have skill sets that complement one another. They know who does the hammering, they know who does the measuring, they know who does the sawing, and there's perfect interaction. It's probably the most perfect example of how humans can work together since, well, maybe the pyramids were put together in Egypt, and of course there was, some labor issues with that. So, The Amish raising a barn is one of the things I like to sort of think about when I'm in a situation organizationally when things aren't quite working as seamlessly as they can. I'm like, well, how can this organization put together a barn in 24 hours and this board of directors can't put together an initiative in a semester or a fiscal quarter? If you've ever studied wolf packs are another organization that has a hierarchy and clearly delineated goals, and they maximize each other's strengths. There's an alpha male and female running most wolf packs, but there's also a female wolf who is typically known among the group as someone who's got great mothering skills. So when mommy and daddy wolf have decided after the first 4 weeks of having a litter of cubs, it's time to get out on date night and have a movie, and they put out a message on Facebook, they're looking for a babysitter, and no one responds because they're all too busy. They assign babysitting duties to this other female wolf who maybe earlier on in her life had a reputation as a great mother, and so she will become the babysitter. They have sentinels or guards, they have hunters, and they work seamlessly as a very efficient organization to maximize each other's strengths. So in Nashville today, when you're on Music Row, which is where all the record labels and music publishers and booking agents are, in all these little rooms all around town, there are 2 or 3 or 4 songwriters working together, and they're doing the same kind of things that you all at FAU on different campuses and different backgrounds try to do on a daily, weekly, quarterly, semester basis, and that is create a culture of listening, making sure everyone is actively collaborating, amplifying everybody else's strengths. When you position others to succeed, typically we succeed as well if we're working in an organization that fosters that kind of a culture. Making sure every single voice at the table carries equal weight. Everyone gets a chance to be heard, not just with their own ideas, but maybe with Keith's idea to improve upon Raphael's original idea, maybe some sort of a solution. And then when all of that happens, we create a single shared vision for an organization. And of course, at FAU, you're going through consolidation and downsizing and campuses closing and working with the ever-changing world of IT and trying to make sure that all the students and faculty can reach their goals with a lot of demands on probably ever-shrinking budget resources. I understand how that works. You all have a single shared vision. It makes it easier to achieve that vision, right? So I'd like to try something fun with you guys today. I would like to write a song, Nashville style, with you that has to do with not really so much FAU's mission as the IT vision, the BTS vision, the NTS visions for what your reality is on the ground today. And we're going to do this extremely interactive. I have already written a chorus, the main hook to a song, to help us speed along. We're going to divide into 3 sub-teams of songwriters, and you're each going to be assigned a task to create a visual. We're going to create a visual sculpture for each subgroup out of Play-Doh. That visual challenge, and I'll explain this, that visual challenge will become the words and thoughts, phrases, emotions behind verse 1 to a song, verse 2 to a song, and what we call the bridge of a song, which typically brings the whole thing together back into the chorus, the main hook, the main idea of the song. And we're going to do this in about the next 50 minutes or so. Yeah, in the next 50 minutes, we're going to put this together. We're going to rehearse it once or twice, and we're going to bring it home and sing it as a group, okay? So what I need to do is divvy up into 3 relatively even groups of people with collaborative workspaces, sort of maybe triangles created or little foursomes created. Let's see, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 17. Okay, so let's...
Oh, sorry, 19.
Okay, so let's do 6, 6, and 7. Is that right? 6, 6, and 7? Okay. Let's do 6, 6, and 7, and maybe 3 triangles would be great. I'm seeing the solutions. I'm seeing the solutions right now. I think this is 3 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want these to be relatively even. Or 6, 6, and 5. I was thinking 19. Do we have 17 or 19? I thought someone said 19.
No, don't count me.
Uh-oh. Sure. Okay, clear out some space, grab a notebook. Someone's going to be your stenographer. Every group should assign a stenographer. Every group should assign a liaison. I'll explain that in just a second. We're supposed to have 3 groups, guys. 3 groups. Let's make this 3 groups. Let's communicate with each other and figure this math out. I need 2 or 3 more people over here, or 1 more person over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, why don't, Dale, you come over here. We're going to be sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. It's yours now. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 6, and 7. That's okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to help you out. Okay, please listen up. Please listen up. I want to make sure we get you all out of here before rush hour, so I need your help. So you all are group number 1. You're going to create a sculpture. This sculpture is going to become the first verse of the song, or in this case, in most cases, the first verse of our story, the beginning of our story. And here's your deal. I need you to create a sculpture which visualizes using no letters and no symbols, no numbers. No numbers, no symbols, no letters. This sculpture will visualize what you agree is the staunchest challenge to the short-term success of the IT department or departments here at FAU. The short-term success. And one other challenge, and you can incorporate this into either one large sculpture or a couple of mini sculptures. Short-term success challenge to IT, short-term success challenge to FAU as an organization overall, okay? Your view from the IT seat. Is that clear? Pretend you're a 6-year-old and no holds barred, have fun creating a sculpture without letters, numbers, or symbols, visualizing the emotions. Whoever has the neatest handwriting, I want you to write down the key words and phrases that describe this sculpture. Those will become the verse to the story. And we're going to write that all together after about 15 minutes. We good? Nope. The challenge. Short-term challenge to IT and short-term challenge to FAU, the larger whole. Whatever you think as a group. Whether it's something very practical, whether it's our broadband is 50% of what it needs to be, whether there's infrastructure problems, whether there's communication issues, but short-term, okay? Short-term. When I say short-term, anywhere from quarterly to semester to maybe a year or 2, okay, at most. Short-term. Group 2, you're the second verse to our song. You're going to create a sculpture without using letters, numbers, or symbols. It is going to visualize the thoughts and emotions that describe what you consider to be the staunchest, most difficult challenges to the long-term success of IT and the long-term success of FAU as a system. Okay? From your seat. There's no right or wrong answers here, but you have to collaborate on this, okay? And you, as the stenographer, you'll write down the phrases and thoughts that describe this sculpture, okay? And you all are going to create our bridge. You're group 3. Just 1 second here. I want to start at the same time. You're the bridge. The bridge, just so you know, excuse me, when we create a song, most popular songs, not all, but most have something called a bridge. A bridge generally occurs after the first few verses of a song have been sung. You've heard the chorus once or twice. Does everybody know what a chorus in a song is? Kind of the main hook, okay? The bridge is usually a shorter version it's maybe instead of 4 lines like a lot of verses are, it's sometimes just 2 or 3 lines, and it kind of wraps everything up story-wise and musically back into the chorus and brings us home. So here's the deal. You're going to be our, what's your name? Andrea? You're our liaison for group 1. I just volunteered you. You're your liaison. Kirk, you're going to be our liaison for group 2. Here's how we build the story. Here, I want to make sure our story makes sense sequentially. So as you guys are building your short-term challenge sculpture, and as you guys are building your long-term challenge sculpture, I want Andrea to be going back and forth with Kirk to make sure that you're not describing the same challenges. So that if it turns out you're overlapping too much, Kirk and Andrea need to put their heads together and say, well, this is what they're working on. This is what they say the long-term challenge is. We were describing that as a long-term challenge when maybe in reality it's a short-term or vice versa. And then you all are also going to talk with you guys. The bridge should create 2 or 3 lines that are actually the solutions. Short-term challenge, long-term challenge, and remember, we're writing in La La Land here, so there are no limitations. There are no restrictions. When we're creating the solution, there's no restrictions. Okay? So whether, if budget is one of the biggest things, then somehow we're going to come up with more money. How are we going to come up with more money? How are we going to fix our broadband infrastructure?
So we have to go and talk with
Yeah, let's see. What was your name? Because I forget, your name tag's gone again. Nancy. Nancy, there you go. Nancy, Kirk, Andrea, you all need to sort of be bouncing back and forth and liaisoning. And Ivan, you're going to write down these, I guess. Who's your stenographer going to be? Stenographer. Who's going to be your stenographer? Secretary. Okay. Okay. You'll write down just the keywords and phrases that describe this sculpture as we build it. Okay. And on your marks, get set, go. We have 15 minutes. No letters, no numbers, no symbols. Just a visual, as if you're 6 years old. Visualize kind of what you think the solutions may be.
understand what you're talking about.
Okay.
Right now.
Right. Exactly. So you all. This is the toughest role. Okay. You're starting to create solutions, and you're not 100% certain what they're working on as their challenges. But if you've been around the block here for any length of time, you can probably guess as to where some of their challenges are going to be. They're working on short-term challenges. They're working on long-term challenges. You're creating a sculpture which would be the solutions in a utopian world. The solutions. Yeah, you're going to create the sculpture, okay? But very quickly, whoever's liaison here is going to want to get with Kirk and Andrea to make sure that you're on the right path. No symbols. No symbols. That's always one of the toughest ones. But I've seen people create dollar bills before. Nothing you'd find on a keyboard. Nothing you'd find on a keyboard. What are you guys considering to be your challenges at this point?
We're stretched kind of thin.
Personnel-wise? Manpower-wise?
Yeah, space-wise.
Space-wise, manpower, I imagine budget as well,
Right.
which leads to lack of manpower, in theory. Okay. Okay.
And
So that's the biggest challenge to short-term success or long-term, with short-term success with IT? What about short-term success with FAU from your viewpoint?
With FAU, I think it's
Okay, okay,
that's why we green, and he created like a purse, like something.
okay,
money bag.
okay. All right, I got it. I like it.
You want
It's
to do
pretty.
the money bag? And then stretch it.
Yes, money is that what you said? Right. So we need to get creative and figure out a different way to say.
Unified collaboration.
Well,
How are you going to create new innovations, right? That's tough. If you guys want to use props, just so you know, if you want to use props that are around the table, feel free. Just so you know, as you're creating your sculpture, if you feel like you want to use anything on the table as extra props besides Play-Doh, that's fine. As you guys are creating your sculpture, if you feel like you want to use anything besides the Play-Doh for props that exist on your table, you can. That's fine. So, pencils, containers, whatever you need that doesn't, as long as you're not creating with your Play-Doh a number or a letter or symbol. As you guys put this together, it should all be put together somewhere in the center of the table so that we clear space out for everyone to see from the rest of the.
One. I gave one away.
That's the kind of collaboration I love to see. Yeah. I like it. 10 minutes.
Well, it's black though.
Oh, gosh. Nancy, I don't know how you do it. Oh, my Lord. Oh, gosh. Ivan, I know where you're going with this. Soon. No, 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 you're not putting lyrics to it. You're just creating the words and the phrases. We're going to do lyrics as a group. Okay, 7 minutes.
How about a little stick guy stands up? Yeah, that's what something to symbolize that disruption.
5 minutes. 5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Each one is different. But something about the same.
Remember, you are just writing down the words and phrases that describe these sculptures. You're not writing full verses yet. We're doing that as a group.
Yeah, what's going to break? That's the problem. It's about to break. Yeah, I want to make it really super thin. I started that way.
Without each link.
I know. That's how I started. The problem is. I think it's more interesting.
We need diversity. We still have to support people. I mean, some of our job is not anything other than just supporting people. It's our short-term goal.
Actually, what if we have a person, but the person's what if we make
Here's
the
his
person,
chair.
we make a person stretch? Like the person is making.
It's a broken chain.
Make their arms like borders or just like something stretched, like flat.
Supposed to represent the canvases.
Wow, perfect number, huh? Wow. Would have needed one more up until not long ago, apparently.
Here's
That's
the guy.
that's a model.
We'll get,
Right.
You can make a keyboard down here.
Oh! There's a challenge, a shaky foundation, right? Three minutes.
Make a regular chair.
You could put your, that's fine. I just like your use of the FAU notebooks, that's cool.
I don't want to ruin their artistic What if we actually did stretch?
Right. But the whole idea of
What if we started out?
you go from wired to
Synergy. And the whole group.
Okay, 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
Signify all the problems that we had lately. Here, somebody put him in the chair.
You can put that on top.
Yeah.
Do I make a white?
That's his chair.
No, but what does this have to do with?
We support people and computers and everything else. Now, like, how about a
What's
big
the
lightning
challenge?
bolt? Like, all the problems that we had.
Okay, let's wrap up. 1 minute. 1 minute or so. Let's wrap up. Everybody roll. Everybody roll.
So you make it like that's his face, and you stretch thin. That's the face, and that's of like you can make that like the face, the neck, and then stretch.
What about his clock?
You know what I'm saying?
His clock in here?
Yeah.
Clock.
So you stretch thin. It's pretty good.
Okay, you guys are going to be the first group to go, and what that means is this. I need one person to stay at the table and kind of describe what we're seeing here. Maybe that's whoever was your stenographer, I'm not sure, or your liaison. Actually, let's have it do this. Whoever was you were liaison, right? You'll describe the sculpture. Whoever was our stenographer, I'm going to need you to step on up to this easel, and you're going to write out the phrases for us. Everyone else, I'm going to need to step back from the table for just a minute back onto the back wall because I want the other groups to look. Make sure that foundation is good. Okay, and you're going to use one of these. Just write down a list as we go here. Okay. Okay. Time's up. Consider me the buzzer. I'd like groups 2 and 3 to get up from your tables and gather around in a semicircle around group 1's table. You want them on this side, right? You want them on that side? Oh, okay. Well then, just get. Okay, if you all could gather around the table, and Andrea is going to describe these challenges to you, and we're going to write them down, kind of right here. Nice big, thanks.
You gotta go on this side, you can't see, when you guys can't see what you think. One of them is like a dinosaur.
Come on over, guys. You guys, come on, I want you to see this, please. Okay, so these are the short-term challenges to both IT department as well as overall FAU.
Oh, this means that we're working under pressure. This is a money bag for a budget. Sure, budget.
Yeah.
Time, sometimes we don't have enough time for it. Communication, we have a lot of problems with communication, especially in the group. And this is the resources are stretched thin. For the people, we have less people, so we have to work harder. We have more work to do.
Okay, so can you recap that for us one more time, just so we're clear on what your challenges are? This is working under pressure. You guys are down here, I guess? Yeah. Okay. I've been told this represents
Those
all.
are the FAU campuses.
These are the FAU campuses. This was a last-minute addition to the structure. This is communication. This is budget. Okay.
This is communication.
Or lack thereof. Okay.
Communication,
Uh-huh.
time,
Time management,
and resources stretched thin.
resources. And when you say resources,
Mostly,
we've already talked about budget, so now we're talking about
we don't have enough people to do all the work.
manpower, woman power, and what other resources? Anything? Staffing, space, okay, okay. Great. All right, super, great job. Okay, so now if someone could come on over from group 2 to the group 2. The rest of group 2 is going to sort of step back. I need to do the same thing, groups 1 and 3. I want you to explore this table over here. And I want group 2's stenographer to step over to this easel over here with a large Sharpie, and you are going to describe, or you're going to write down your keywords, phrases in large letters.
Our long-term issues were sustainability and dealing with problems of flexibility, mainly with technology and advancing technology. So we have the cuts in the domain out of play that the flow of information in the data going back to the cloud and representing innovation and technology. Expanding technology, moving on, keeping up with it, making sure that we're meeting the needs of modern day communities, and it's trickling back to the folks that they invite.
Fantastic. Okay, does anybody have any questions symbolically for what?
You can't see it, but it's a desktop.
If you look from the other
If
side,
you look
it's
from the other side, it's very
very
precise.
accurate. Very
It's
detailed.
a desktop. But the reason why the scissors are made out of Play-Doh is because instead of using regular scissors, which is probably what most people would see, cuts, budget cuts as, we are trying to make those budget cuts actually, try to be resourceful with them, and therefore they're made out of Play-Doh so that they're not destroyed. We are able to incorporate them into what you need to do creatively.
Is
Whatever,
that-
I don't work here, so.
Guest star. Okay, so are we all clear on this particular sculpture and the challenges it represents? Okay, before we get to, oh, go ahead, Alberto.
No, I was going to say, these are people demanding things?
These are people. No, these are people working, finding the resourceful ways of dealing with this, and then moving those innovations into the cloud, and then obviously the vision at the end will be something that will be beneficial back to the people.
That's the
Right.
digital
This is-
signal.
This is the digital signal.
So we're moving into a digital world, 0 and 1,
Awesome.
instead of a science signal.
And these are like the benefits back to the people.
Okay, so if everyone's clear on that, before we get to the bridge, we're going to start writing our song with these first two sculptures, which will turn into verses 1 and 2. Once we get to a certain point to stretch our legs, we will then move on over to the bridge and do what we just did with groups 1 and 2. So if everyone could regain their seats for a moment or two, that would be great. Okay. Okay. Did you get all of your keywords and phrases on here? Like I kept hearing cloud mentioned, and I don't see that on here. Are there any specifics that we can put on here? Like just anything that you did not include. I don't want to add anything necessarily, but if there are a couple of keywords that didn't make it.
Cuts, right? Did you say cuts? No?
Cloud, cuts, you said? Sure. Edward Scissorhands, I think that was mentioned. Edward Scissorhands. Anything else? Cloud, cuts?
Zeros and ones?
Unified collaboration. That's a mouthful. Unified collaboration. Okay. And do me a favor, stay up here with me. Okay. Okay. So as counterintuitive as it sounds, I love that word. Counterintuitive is one of my favorite words in recent years. Our stenographer from group 2 is going to stay up here and help us write the verse from group 1. Okay? On that chart right there. And what we're going to be using to create that verse, of course, are the key words and phrases from group 1. And to give us a little bit of idea as to where we're going, this is kind of the hook I created just for fun. I need this somewhere where it's going to be able to be.
Push this.
You think? It's kind of, you know what, we can do this for the time being. How about this? Post-it. Gosh, I wish I had invented that. Oh my gosh. Talk about innovation. Accidental. You all know the story, right? That wasn't the goal. It wasn't to create a temporary stickum. They were trying to create the opposite of that. They were trying to create the most amazing adhesive. And instead, Post-it. Gosh. Okay, so let's see if I can remember what I wrote the other day. Something like this. Communication is the key. BTS and TS together, creating a stronger we. We've been downsized and consolidated. Poor communication leaves us frustrated. How do we get from here to there without losing all of our hair? That's supposed to be funny. Don't ask Jeff, because that's why he wears a hat. Communication is the key. So I didn't offer, as you can see, any specific solutions. I kept it kind of vague so we can get a little bit more specific in our verses, in our storytelling, okay? So we'll get to that as kind of a hook in a little bit. So now, with that being said, we need to start our story. And our story apparently starts somewhere with budgetary issues, working under pressure, less people, more work, budget constraints. I like to start most of these programs with a verse that actually tells it like a human story. So as if you are getting ready to go to work on a Sunday night or a Monday morning, what's the most common fear as we start to worry about these challenges heading into the week? You know, and we can even say, you know, Sunday night or Monday morning, and I'm already worried about blah. I'm already worried about X, or that meeting is looming large, or what am I not going to hear in a timely fashion this week? Will I have a job next week? Very real fear. So who wants to help us get started? Let me ask you this. Do most of you start worrying about this stuff on Sunday evenings or on your way out the door Monday? What's the biggest trepidation period? Show of hands on Sunday in the PM. Who starts worrying Sunday night? And if you start worrying Saturday, I don't even want to know. But I mean, yes. Sunday night, 1, 2, Monday morning out. Monday morning. This is a 1 or 2. This is either one or the other. It's mostly Monday morning. Monday morning wins. Okay. So Monday morning, walking out the door, something like that. And what? Monday morning and already. Okay. I'm under pressure. It's Monday morning. Someone said traffic. We can start this off just like we would any kind of a regular popular song, country rock. You can create the narrative of I'm in traffic and here it is. I'm already, you know, you feel like you're running late and you're already worried about the budget meeting on Wednesday, the fact that there's not enough time to get everything done on your to-do list. So do we want to start off saying something like, Monday morning, here I am again? Which will set the stage for getting more specific with your next 3 lines. Monday morning, here I am again. Okay. Just one second. I want to help our stenographer here so just so you know, so if this is line 1, we're going to need enough space for 3 more just like this. Space-wise, what we're looking at. Okay, Mark? Cool. Okay, so now we've set the stage. It's Monday morning, here I am again, okay? Now we have to get specific. What are we worried about?
I'm stretched pretty thin.
Pretty thin, and I'm worried about enough people to
What about we have to come Monday morning, or several BT classes, sometimes with late. Monday morning, you're again, running late. So you just tell me that I have to do.
Rachel, that goes like under pressure and already stretched too thin.
under pressure.
Under pressure.
Roll at 10 o'clock.
Okay. So, okay, now remember, this let me help you guys here. This is one of the parts that can be equally parts fun sometimes and equally parts frustrating other times. If you're in a room trying to create a song and there is something you want to say, but the other people in the room feel as though what you want to say is valid, but there must be a different way to say it. And when you're trying to create a specific song for radio, you're always trying to figure out different ways to say the exact same thing. So under pressure, to me, is something we need to address, but I'm wondering if there's a different way to say it. Because the other thing we have to keep in mind when we are writing a song for popular consumption is what we call syllables. What's our syllable allotment, considering what the general melody is going to be? Under pressure, 4 syllables. Is there a shorter way to say the same thing? For example, when I'm under pressure, I feel like I'm carrying a weight. There's a weight on my shoulder. Stressed. Okay, under pressure, you could say stressed. I'm so stressed. Monday morning, here I am again. So stressed.
But I'm not going to make it.
I'm so stressed because I'm stretched so thin. Budget cuts have me stressed. Oh, wow. You might have come up with a line that tackles 3 of these all at once, which would be pretty bonus worthy. That's a great use. Let me see. So budget cuts have us stretched too thin, okay? Okay. And as we go along, what you all are going to see is there's probably going to be 1 or 2 items on each page we don't use, because we're going to realize that some of these are almost the same thing. It's pretty much a given that when we're stretched too thin in any way, we're stressed. So we might end up sort of massaging this as we go. This happens often. So Monday morning, here I am again. Why can't I say cuts? Budget cuts have us stretched too thin. See, I want to say stressed too thin. Budget cuts have us stretched too thin. I am sober, I promise.
It's Monday.
Yeah. Is it?
So repeat it again because he didn't get it all.
So budget cuts have us stretched too thin. Budget cuts. And this is one of my favorite things to do. And I think Susanna will appreciate this. This is really important to me in my weekly and daily sanity. If I can't cross things off, I start to lose it.
Do you actually, like, sometimes do stuff that you haven't put
Of course.
and start the new list?
Not very efficient way to do things, no. But if I've done something, though, that I didn't include on the original list,
Start the new list with it and cross it out?
well, no, then I just add it so that I can say, I got to give myself credit for something accomplished, even though I didn't know I needed to do it in the first place. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Okay, Monday morning, here I am again. Budget cuts have us stretched too thin. Very good. We've got 2 more lines to start to this verse. Stretch too thin. Is there something specific to BTS and NTS? For example, how often do you all have departmental meetings? Once a week? Wait a second. What? Once or twice a month is the reality, apparently. Okay. Once or twice a month. I only bring up meetings because meetings are fraught with all kinds of feelings from all quarters. A lot of people feel as though they're not always the most productive things. A lot of people feel, yeah. Does every voice at the table carry weight? Does everyone get to get heard? Do we have way too many items on our agenda? As leadership, and I'm sure Suzanne understands this, anytime someone comes into a meeting with 15 items on the agenda, you're screwed. You might as well just mail it in. As an organization or as a department, there should never be more than a very attainable number of primary bullet points for our regular meetings. Anyway, so is there a bi-monthly meeting where we're going to be discussing some of this stuff? And how do we feel about that meeting? For example, is the meeting a wise use of time management? Less people. Managing your time under pressure. This is kind of where Monday morning, here I am again. Budget cuts have us stretched too thin. I'm just helping with that so that you kind of understand where we're going with this, because melody speaks to a lot of us on different levels and helps us with our rhyme schemes, our poetic sort of structure. And now, we already did a 1-2 rhyme where we rhymed again and thin. They're faux rhymes. So the next 2 lines, we can either stay with the same kind of rhyme scheme, or we can try to come up with 2 others that kind of work together, which is kind of the more common way to do it. Time to measure while under pressure. Time, not enough time. Remember, time management doesn't have to mean time management verbatim. You can say not enough time. You can say the clock is ticking. You can say too much to do, which also alludes to lack of time or time management. Not enough time. Too much to do and too much to do, less people to do it. Too much to do, less people to do it, which takes care of this, and strongly alludes to this.
Sure does.
It sure does. Not enough people, and another. You could also turn this around. Too much to do, not enough people. Okay? Too much to do, not enough people. This is the fun part. Let's think about this. How many different ways you can turn this around? Too much to do, not enough time. Too much to do, not enough people. Is it almost the same thing? Trying to find money on an empty bag. Right? Too much to do, not enough time. I'm still kind of stuck on too much because, again, when we're dealing with a popular song, why do we have not enough people? Well, it's because we don't have enough money. So that might fall into one of the things that we just allude to. Or who knows, we might be able to use it in verse 2.
Not enough money in the bag.
Short of time, people, and faith.
And what?
That's kind of cool. Short of time, people. And remember, let me tell you how crazy it can get. Think about going back and forth on one line for 8 or 10 hours straight, and how many different ways you can turn it on its head if there's 3 or 4 people in the room. The other thing is, when you're creating a song, you tend to get emotional about it, especially if it's your idea that you brought to the table that morning. You're like, hey guys, like most writers in Nashville write with 3 or 4 or 6 people on a regular basis as their sort of circle. And if I come to the table tomorrow morning with an idea I wrote last night, I'm now emotionally invested in it. And if I wrote a line that I think is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and God forbid someone wants to say the same thing, which is affirmation, but they want to say it differently, then I'm like, what's wrong with the way I said it? So, your line again? Short on time, people, and faith. I kind of like it because if you're short on time and you're short on people, obviously we're short on money, and obviously we have too much work. Remember, these all allude. People, and we need to keep it here. Let me see how this is going to sing. Short on time, people, and faith. Na 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 na. I like short on time. Are we okay with, as a group, short on time, people, and faith, understanding that that takes care of time management, the people issue, and it strongly infers that we've got money issues and we're under pressure, because that creates pressure. We good? This is a pseudo-democracy. I want to make sure. What's that? We have one more line we're going to tie this up with.
What if
Short on time, people in faith. Short on cash, people in faith. Short on time, short on cash. It's true. It's true. It's true. None of these are the wrong answers. You all know that, right? These are all very possible answers.
No,
He said patience. People and patience. The problem I have with patience is it might be one too many syllables. Because we're trying to combine a great brainstorming session with a poetically correct song, pentameter-wise, or
Is that why sometimes you can't understand the what they're saying? Because they'll say like,
well, we're not going to radio with this thing, but I'm short on time, people in faith. Short on time, people in patience. You could do either one. Show of hands. Short on time, people in faith. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Patience instead of faith. Show of hands. 1, 2, and a couple of non-voters. Okay.
We lost people in places.
What's that?
Another line, we lost people in places.
We lost.
People in places because they closed the campus and laid people off.
We short on, right. We lost people in places. That's true.
we want to stay in the context.
We want to try to, let's see. For that?
That could be before everything else. We lost people in places.
And places. Oh, you say short. So you're saying add places instead of patience or faith.
People in places were like layoffs.
So short on time, people and places.
So we lost people.
Spaces, places.
He's saying lost.
You could do either one. Places, spaces.
People in places sounds good.
Okay. So what I would say, remember, when you're writing this, you always have to be thinking a line or two ahead. Just like when you're creating short-term and long-term initiatives, everything has a butterfly effect. And so, well, the reality is we have one more line, and we might, if spaces are going to be the last word of line 3, then faith, which is a faux rhyme for space. Does everyone know what I mean when I say faux, meaning close? So we could figure out a way to use faith, and I already see where it's going in my head. Faith could be the last word of line 4 of the verse.
You could say we lost
People in places.
we lost too much people and now we have too much space.
What I've heard is that we might not have enough space.
Monday morning here, we are again, budget cost campus, stretched.
We can do that, definitely. Let's hold on to that for a second. Okay, so too much time, not enough, wait, too much time? No. Hmm? What was the line again? Your line. Okay, so I'm now making an informed executive decision. Line 3 is short on time, people, and spaces. Not places. Spaces are more important. Why? Because spaces are where we create within the places. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You want to say we're short on or we lost?
I think it's inferred. Okay, short on time, people in place. I would put spaces instead. Because everybody has their workspace. We don't have our workplace is the larger. Okay. Okay. So now we've got one more line, and can I cross anything off here, please? Let's see here. Short on time. We said that, right? Okay. All right. So and now, a lot of this is already inferred. Remember, we do not have to feel pressure. We do not have to feel pressure to necessarily try to fit any or all of this into there, so much as understanding that, remember, we're now getting ready to go into the verse, or the chorus. So if budget cuts have us stretched, we're short on time, people in spaces, and if you want to say instead of I am again, you can say we are again. Just cross off I am and put we are. Okay. This next line has got to be a little bit optimistic, or not. I mean, what I'm thinking is, what would you like this line to say if the last word is faith? Are we trying to keep the faith? Are we losing faith? Is it difficult to keep the faith? What's that? We always get the job done. We get the job done, which gives us faith. Requires faith. Getting the, but each day requires a renewal of faith. And we're not talking about a religious thing here. This is just faith in
Getting the work.
Communication bring down the pain, so we could run it.
good communication. Now the chorus, we use the word communication a couple times in the chorus. Okay. What gives us? Do we want to? Do we? Go ahead. We'll get it done, but we're under the gun. That's.
Yeah, but then you get into that whole FAU police
That's the question. Alberto, you took the words right out of my mouth. Do we want to work towards the fact that we are losing faith or that we are keeping faith?
Would say something like, sometimes it's just before like an empty bag and put an empty bag of faith?
Searching for faith on an empty bag.
Searching for faith on an empty bag.
Or an empty money bag.
Okay. So how can we turn that around so that faith is the end of the thought? Our bag is empty, our coffers are empty, but we still have faith? Or together we still have faith, or we keep the faith? Searching a bag for a coin of faith. That's kind of cool. Remember, this is a song that, it's supposed to be artistic in theory, so we can say anything we want as long as we know what it means. And the audience will get it as long as the music's good.
That's the secret.
You put a good beat to it, Searching a bag for a coin of faith, that's a metaphor of some sort. I mean, searching an empty bag. Digging in the bag for a coin of faith. And the coin is a sign, okay? I kind of really like that.
Search my bag.
For a nickel of faith.
So a nickel, searching my bag for a coin of faith. Searching my bag for a coin of faith. Are we cool with searching my bag for a coin of faith?
Or even with a dime of faith.
A dime. I like your idea, nickel, but I like hers better because it's one syllable versus two. But here's the thing. That's how songwriters work. That's how songwriters work in a room together every day. The initial idea, good, improved upon by someone else's feedback, your concept, your innovation. So, searching my bag for a dime of faith. Searching.
We're going to make it personal, my bag rather than the bag?
Okay.
Do we use searching the bag or searching my bag?
The bag. Searching the bag. If I had to vote, I would probably say searching the bag, which makes it the collective. Searching the bag for a coin of faith.
Really, you're searching if they use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember.
Okay. This verse is done. So now, I need a different colored pen here. Do me a favor. I'm going to need you to write large letters over certain points of this, okay, just for my benefit. Over Monday, put a C. Monday morning, come again. Over again, put a G. And use large letters if you could next time. That's fine. Next time is fine. Same over budget, a large C. What is this word? Too thin. G. I'm gonna be in trouble on that one the whole time. Teething. It looks like we're teething. Okay. That's all good. That is painful. Over a short, put a large E and a small M, please. Short on time, people in spaces. Over spaces, please put a large D. Over searching, please put an E minor, large E, small M. Searching the bag. Over a bag, put C. Over faith, put a large D with a 7 next to it. Okay, awesome. Okay, verse 1 written. Great job. Thank you, Mark. Okay, so now I need Group 1's stenographer to help us write Group 2's. Thank you. Oh, can you please grab that? Yeah, thanks. Because what I want to do is take this and I want to I want to put it up here where everyone can see it. Okay, awesome. Let's see here. Where can I put this? Okay. Okay. Can we do that? Okay. Just put it up on the screen. That'd be great. I'll tell you what. Can we lift one of these up now? Can we lift one of these up?
No, but both will go, but you don't need it.
I don't need them.
Yep.
Yeah. I just want it higher up so everyone can see it. No.
No, but nobody's gonna.
Awesome. And then put it right up here, like nice and high. Okay. Okay, so these are the words we're dealing with to create verse 2. Okay, and we're going to have to boogie on this one because I'm running a little bit short for us here. I want to get you guys on the road. So, remember, we started with Monday morning. Let's start the second verse to our story in a time frame also. Okay? So we already dealt with the beginning of the week. Do we want to start? Do we want to sort of teleport ourselves to our bi-monthly meeting where we're trying to accomplish things? What do we want to do here? Wednesday afternoon because we're trying to get through the week. Bi-monthly meeting because we're there where we can talk about a lot of this stuff. Ideas. Think in the terms of how we started this. We started with Monday morning. Here we are again. Now where are we? It's what? Hump day and stuck. Here it is. Now it's hump day and we're stuck in a meeting, or here's another meeting.
Another meeting. You only got one. We got like
Time again for another meeting.
Hump day and it's time for yet another meeting. How about that? Are we good? Hump day and it's time for yet another meeting. Andrea, you want to tell him? Yet another meeting. Okay, good. Now we will. Just like we've set it up, and now we will. Nice. Take care. Okay. All right. So just so you know, Keith. Yeah. So tighter. 1, 2, 3. Needs to all fit on this page. Okay. Awesome. So now we use these words and phrases. It's hump day and time for yet another meeting. What do we want to tackle here? We've already talked about budget cuts, short on time, and people. So now we can get more specific in some ways to what it is you do. You know, the specific challenges with the cloud, with technology obsolescence, trying to create innovation when all these cuts are already in our face. How do you innovate when you're short on people and money? All that's good stuff.
Thinking of ways
Sustain what? Sustain the peace? The pace. And the peace. It's interesting because screaming is a nice faux rhyme for meeting. Okay. Yeah. The cloud is down. The cloud is down, and what do you guys call? Remember, I'm not a tech guy. What is the actual tech infrastructure at a place like this called, or any large organization? The network? infrastructure, networks down, networks down, networks down, cloud. The phone is ringing because the network's down. That's pretty good. Is that a pretty common thing, I would imagine? Phone is down because the network's ringing. How about that? Phone is down because phone is ringing because the network's down? Really?
Yes.
That sucks. So what happens then? What's the answer? Cell phone. But does a line such as phone is ringing because the network down, does that still ring true based on what you all deal with on a regular basis? Right. I say let's use that. Phone is ringing because the network's down. I'm not. Wait, what was that? I'm not. My flight's not till tomorrow. I'm not trying to get out of here. The only thing waiting for me is happy hour at some point. Phone is ringing because the network's down. Okay, so did we tackle anything here? Digital birthday? What? Digital binary. Okay. When we talked about the network, okay, so can we sort of assume that the cloud is part of that? Wow, okay. We've already talked about cuts. Okay. All right. So I personally would love to see something about how difficult it is to create innovations in the current situation. Because most of you guys in some shape or form have an enjoyment or an interest in technology. And I'm sure as a department and group, ideally it would be amazing to create some new ways to do things better. But with the current situation, that's really difficult. Not just for you, but in a lot of company and organization situations. But innovation is important, so how do you get there? Go ahead. Move it all to the cloud. Phone is ringing because the network's down. It would be great if we could move it all to the cloud. It is kind of like innovation. How do we innovate to the cloud? Innovation to the cloud. How do we innovate? Innovation. How do we, How do we?
That's like the whole stress under your.
Let's see here. Innovation. Let me see. Just trying to think. Hump day and it's time for. Wow, that's a lot of words for that first line. Hump day and it's. Hump day and it's. We need to cut a word or two out of that first line. I'd say hump day, another meeting. Hump day, and yet another meeting. Hump day and yet another meeting. Says the same thing. It just says the same. And yet. Get rid of time for. Yeah. Hump day and yet another meeting. Right. No. Right. You don't. Okay. Okay. Phone is ringing because the network's down. So if we want to. Here. All right. Here's where we need. Listen up. Come on. I got to get you guys out of here. Here, and we still have a bridge to write. Wait a sec. Wait. I want to show you where we need to go with this. This is a songwriting lesson, and this is a thinking ahead lesson. I'm going to tell you where we need to go with this if we're going to keep down as the last word in line 2. Cloud needs to be the last word in line 4. In other words, moving everything to the cloud sounds like it's an ideal. So, just like faith is an ideal at the end of that, which gives us a positive, cloud will be the goal at the end of this because it rhymes with down.
How about obsolete equipment is forcing us to the cloud, something like that?
Well, but I think it's good. I think it's good, but But isn't cloud something that we're trying to strive for in IT? So forcing us there is not necessarily, I think what we need to do is set up, because the networks are always down and always crashing and the infrastructure can't support where we're at, we need to have another line right here that leads us to da-da-da-da-da-da, but if we could do this, then we can take it all to the cloud. Do you understand what I'm saying story-wise here? Think about it as chapters in a book. The network's down for various reasons, challenges. How can we avoid that in the future? We build up to blah, 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 blah if we could take it to the cloud. Just like a show of faith. So, obsolescence is...
Resources, we're going on our resources and innovation, we can strive for it.
Okay, you're onto something, you're getting there. We need to build up towards innovation and resourcefulness, putting everything in the cloud. Innovation and resourcefulness, putting us in the cloud. Collaboration and innovation. Okay. All right. Okay, so you guys are all on to something. In this meeting, we're looking for solutions. How are we going? The boss is asking you for all of your ideas. How do we innovate to get to the cloud with the challenges that we have on the ground? This is what we're looking for, if this were the meeting. He wants you all to speak up. What are the ideas? How do we prevent this? How do we innovate so that we can take everything to the cloud? What's that? The boss needs idea for this problem. How do we sustain? How do we innovate? Unified collaboration. Here we go. What about unified collaboration? Brings us innovation, and taking us closer to the cloud. Okay, unified collaboration brings us innovation, brings out innovation. Unified collaboration brings out innovation. Okay, brings out innovation, taking us closer to the cloud. Are we good with that? Okay. All right. So you're going to write these chords for me. I'm going to start you off there. Hump day and yet another meeting. G over the meeting. Over meeting. C over phone. G over down. Large E, small m over unified. D over innovation. Large E, small m over taking us. And over cloud, please put a D7. Verse 2 has been written. Awesome. Okay. Now we are down to the bridge. Great job. Great job. Okay, so everyone from this table, please step back, other than who's going to describe the sculpture. I want everyone to get on up and look at this from the other two groups. Someone describe? Someone else from the group, please write your key words on here. I need whoever is your stenographer to write your key words on here. Large letters. Here you go. Rope. All right.
Our idea was that in order to succeed in our development, we will work together. And the idea is that you can think of those things, challenges, whatever it may be, but they all work for the same purpose, is the response of one. And
Any more?
Circle that doesn't break.
Circle that doesn't break. Circle be unbroken.
Unbroken circle.
It's a pretty famous country song you're dealing with there.
Well, you think we got something here? We can put on YouTube.
Yep.
Make some money?
Well, you could put it on YouTube. Anyway. Okay. If everyone want to grab their seats, please. They can grab their seats, though. Yeah. Okay, I need someone with neat handwriting over here from any group. Who's got the neatest writing? Andrea just got volunteered. Keith did it for you. It wasn't my fault. Okay. Actually, he did. He has nice writing. That's like, for a guy, that's like some of the nicest writing I've ever seen. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Don't. It's a compliment. Okay. Let's assume that we have 3 lines to work with rather than 4, at most, maybe even just 2. This is going to really sort of tie this up into how we're going to work together here. So, collaboration, you can cross that out already because we've already dealt with it in some shape or form. Awesome. Okay, so if we unify, so we need to think in the terms of if we do this and this and this, if we work together and unify, the links will blah, blah, blah. The circle won't break, or the circle, shall the circle be unbroken if you wanted to go country. Creating a chain of unbreakable links. You know, these are the solutions to take us back to the fact that communication is the key. BTS, NTS together creates a stronger we. Okay? This is building us back into that last chorus. Do you get it? Yeah. So if communication is the key, working together creates a stronger we. How do we get there?
Unify the link will multiply.
What's that?
Unify the link will multiply.
If we unify, the link will multiply. That's cool. How can we say that? And I like that. How can we, rather than link?
Unified. Instead of if we unify, I would unify.
Okay.
Unified chain that doesn't break.
Unified chain that doesn't break. We want to create the image of this chain of links that won't break and works together, not necessarily multiplying so much as strengthening, the chain becoming stronger. So, I'm sorry again? If we unify and strengthen the links, our chain will never break. Our strength will multiply. Now, then you get to start using your word multiply, but in a slightly different context. No, we don't want the chain to multiply. We want our strength and abilities to multiply. You said something. Go ahead. Unified will multiply, and the chain won't break. I like that. If we unify, let's write this, way up top, there you go, that's good. If we unify, comma.
What if we just say unified?
Wait a second, you might be onto something here. I like this.
Transition, where are we coming from?
Yeah.
We're coming from cloud, or we're coming from?
We're coming out of the chorus. Losing all our hair, kind of funny part. Yeah.
Then I would say something like, we are a chain linked together if we unify.
Oh, we are a chain linked together. If we unify. See, this is good because he's thinking storyline and transition.
We're like links on a chain tied together. If we unify,
We're going too long. We're going too long.
Let's build from your word. that again, York?
Say yours again. I'm coming out of it. It says, without losing all our hair.
Right,
It says, if we, we are a chain linked together, if we unify, blah, blah, blah.
What
You're-
about
you're right.
different links creating a chain of unity and something else?
York,
We are a chain linked together,
if we,
unify.
okay, so let's scrap that, and then right below it, put we are a chain linked together. This is really good. Linked together. The cool thing here is you've all said pretty much the same thing. We're just saying it in different ways. Maybe. Let's see here. We are a chain linked together. The next line starts with if we unify. Help her out. If we unify,
We're going to use marks.
maybe. Let's just think on this for a minute or two. This could be, we could use this as just two lines. We are a chain link. Let me see here. I'm going to use one of these pics that I left for somebody. If we unify and link, wait, we are a chain. Wait. We are chain linked together. I'm trying to make this up on the spot. We are chain linked together. Wow, something happened here. Okay. Na 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 na. That's about how much space we've got. So we are a chain linked together. If we unify. Too short. If we unify, we will what? If we are a chain linked together, if we unify,
Our strength will multiply.
our strength will multiply. I think it needs to say our strength, if we unify, comma, our strength will multiply, and then there's about 3 or 4 more words that wrap up that line. What is accomplished when we unify and multiply our strength? Then what happens? The chain will never break. Our strength will multiply, and the chain will never break. And the chain lasts forever. It gives you the rhyme. I like that. If we unify, our strength will multiply, and this is what I think we should use. Hold on. My turn. And then you're. If we unify our strength, what do you say? I am very invested. If we unify, our strength will multiply. And you guys want to say the chain will never break. But another way to say that rhymes with forever is the chain will last forever. It's the exact same thing as the chain will never break. And it rhymes as a foe with together. Are we cool with that? Ewart, did you want to say something? No. You sure?
Can I say something?
Yeah, Ivan, go ahead. We do, but we're together forever. Yeah.
Instead of saying we are a chain linked together,
Uh-huh.
how about like links on a chain? If we're unified, our strength will multiply and our chain will last forever.
All right, I want to hear that one more time before I.
Like links on a chain, if we're unified, our strength will multiply and our chain will last forever.
I like it. I honestly think that you're saying the exact same thing, but this is a little tighter. I think because if we unify, our strength will multiply, and the chain will last forever. Or wait, what did you say? We already said chain. You said.
I basically just changed the first part.
So what did you change?
I'm just changing the first part. Instead of saying we are a chain linked together, I said like links on a chain if we unify.
Like links on a chain if we unify.
How about if you add the school spirit? What? I have one
We are chain
other
linked.
idea.
One more. Let's get one more thing here. I'm listening to what you just.
School spirit, let's go owl forever.
Huh?
Let's go owl forever.
Let's go owl forever, and the owl chain lasts forever.
No, owl is the FAU.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because we're saying
Let's go.
Okay, I tell you what, I think we're there. I really do. Do me a favor, if you will, grab another color pen from somewhere.
Here.
Like there's one right there, a blue one, that's fine. Or a green one. Over we, please put a large B and a small M. B as in boy. Yeah. Together, we are chained. Over chain, please put C. Over together, please put D. And over we, if you'll put a large B and a small M. If we unify, our strength will multiply. This is an interesting line. If we unify, our strength will multiply. Okay, that's what we do. If we unify, over unify, please put a C. Strength will multiply. Over R, put large A, small m. Over multiply, please put D. So over chain, please put C. Over forever, please put D, large D. And that's it. Okay, awesome.
Can you put a dad in front of white?
What?
You are changing that white.
Okay, so I think we've got our song. Here's the thing. I promise you we could do this for the next 8 hours, and we would write it a little bit tighter and better and more poetically than even we have. But you all have done an amazing job. But I know, I have been told, we want to get everybody on the road. So we have to use our time management here a little bit. You better not put this on YouTube later on. I see Andrea. I gotta get, I just had a, let's see here. Okay, it's relatively close. Okay, so. Monday morning, here we go again. Here we are again. Budget cuts have us stretched too thin. Short on time, people and spaces, searching the bag for a corner fit. Yeah, communication is the key. BTS and NTS together, creating a stronger we. We've been downsized and consolidated. Poor communication leaves us frustrated. How do we go from here to there without losing all our hair? I double this up. Communication is the key. Okay, now into verse 2. Hump day and time and yet another meeting. You can help me if you want. Phone is ringing 'cause the network is down. Unified Unified collaboration brings out innovation, taking us closer, closer to the cloud. You like that, how we double the word closer? Yeah. Taking us closer, closer to the cloud. Now you go into the chorus. Communication is the key. BTS and NTS together, creating a stronger we. We've been downsized and consolidated. Poor communication leaves us frustrated. How do we get from here to there without losing all our hair? Communication is the key. Now we're going into the bridge. We are chain linked together. Now this is going to be weird. If we unify, our strength will multiply. Worked out. The chain will last forever. Communication is the key. All right, you don't need me to do the whole thing again. Yeah. Woo! All right. So now, where are you going? What you got in there? What you got in there? Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. See ya. Take care. We're gonna wrap this up. I need you all to help me out, and then if anyone has any questions before turning it back over to Alberto, I'll be happy to answer them. And I do have CDs, although this song's not on it, obviously. Yeah. So let's try this from the top, and at least help me out with your verse and the chorus, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Monday morning, here we are again. Budget cuts have us stretched too thin. Short on time, people and spaces. Searching the bag for a coin of fame. Here we go. Communication is the key. BTS and NTS together, creating a stronger we. We've been what? Downsized and consolidated. Poor communication leaves us frustrated. How do we get from here to there without losing all of our hair? Communication is the key. All right, into verse 2. Hump day and yet another meeting. Phone is ringing 'cause the network's down. That sucks. Unified collaboration brings out innovation, taking us where? Closer to the cloud. Yeah. Communication is the key. BTS and NTS together, creating a stronger we. We've been what? Downsized and consolidated. Poor communication leaves us frustrated. How do we get from here to there without losing all our hair? Communication is the key. All right, into the bridge now. We are chain linked together. FAU rocks. If we unify, our strength will multiply, and the chain will last forever. One more time. Communication is the key. You can clap if you want, in rhythm. BTS and NTS together, creating a stronger we. We've been downsized and consolidated. Poor communication leaves us frustrated. How do we get from here to there without losing all of our hair? Communication is the key. Communication is the key, FAU style. Great job, you guys were amazing. You really were. Every single one of you contributed, and it's nice dealing with such people who have such great brain power as you guys do. It's awesome. Do you guys have any questions for me? I know that Alberto wants to wrap things up for a few minutes. Anything you want to ask about songwriting or Nashville or anything?
So are songs still written like that in groups?
Absolutely.
Like
90% of the biggest hits you hear in any genre.
write her own song?
She might contribute. Adele's huge album about 2 years ago, the one that sold 10 trillion records, all of the big hits on there were written by 3 or 4 people. One of my co-writers, who I write with sometimes, she's half my age and twice as accomplished, 10 times as accomplished. She wrote 2 of the lines in The Bridge. She was just a fly on the wall in the studio in LA. Yeah, it's amazing. Any other questions? No?
So 4 people?
That's average. 3 or 4 people. Now remember, some people might contribute it could be that there's 4 people and 2 of them did 85% of the work and 2 of them contributed a line or 2. But that's still 4 people.
Does the actual artist have a say?
Sometimes.
Basically, they just get a song and they get
It varies. Sometimes the artist contributes and sometimes they don't. It just depends. Yeah, and there are different types of agreements. Sometimes it's already agreed upon ahead of time that everyone splits, and other times, especially in LA and New York, if someone's just contributed a line or two or a few words, they'll get a smaller percentage.
That's just the cash though, but the artistic credit goes.
The artistic credit, it says everybody's name, usually. Usually. There are occasional instances where someone who's a much lower on the rung songwriter still contributed a line or two, and they agreed ahead of time that as long as they get X amount of cash, they will not seek credit. That occasionally happens.
Do you write a song for an artist, or can you write a song and then find the artist to pick the song?
People do it both ways, although a lot of successful songwriters will tell you that they write with specific artists in mind, and that way it helps them focus on a style of song to write. But it does vary. I'm sorry? Oh, all the time. Yeah. Especially, like I said earlier, if someone comes into a session with an idea that they think is awesome, and everyone else either shoots it down or decides or suggests changes to it, you know, everyone has to leave their ego at the door at that point. I've been in that spot many times. Through hours and hours and hours of conversation like we had today. 8 or 10 hours at a time. Sometimes there'll be someone who's a much more senior writer or the artist themselves. And yes, sooner or later there will need to be a tie break. And sometimes it's one person who's a much more powerful writer, but sometimes it's a group decision to just vote on it. It goes both ways, yeah. So you could see it go either way. Anything else? I'm a big 80s guy, so that's Brian. I did an event with Bryan Adams a couple years back, and so, you know, Summer of '69, Cuts Like a Knife, all those songs. He said he's got the handwriting of a doctor. Rock with this, Bryan Adams, 2005. I wanted him to put I Got My First Real Six String, for those of you who know the song, but he wouldn't put that. He was afraid it would end up on eBay. So thank you so much for having me, Alberto and everyone. Really appreciate it.
All right, we have another presentation, but I think that we're running out of time. So what I'm going to do is maybe I will take Keith with me the next time to the other campus, and then we'll have Keith actually talking our regular BTS meeting here in Davies. So thank you very much for being here. The only thing is, in our way down, if you want, you guys can come with me. I can show you a little bit of the campus really fast. I know that you have to go, but if you want, it's not. You know, I don't know how you're doing in terms of time.
No, I think we need to get going.
All right. So we'll do another trip, and then we'll do some of the things that we did.
By the way, I want to recommend a book for you guys. I'm currently reading this book. It came out in June. It's called Unthink. Rediscover Your Creative Genius. It's by this guy, Eric Wall. He's the rock star of the corporate speaking world these days. It's an amazing book if you're looking to... Wall, W-A-H-L. Unthink. Unthink, yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, thank you very much. That's wrap things up. Thanks, Jeff.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've got a few minutes to... I need to...